Ladies and gents, your winner and still RWL champion, Giacomo!
RWL pretty much started just as 4 or 5 friends just hanging about, and we were passionate for wrestling and messing around really, and just going out and wrestling with each other.
Well, when we were back in school, constantly it was always wrestling. Myself and James, myself and Tom, myself and Brian, it was always wrestling no matter what. We'd be in the schoolyard talking about wrestling, and if we weren't talking about wrestling, we'd be wrestling, or at least doing what we thought was wrestling at the time. Eventually, we found out that the school library rented out cameras, and that was the game changer. In hindsight, quite dangerous stuff we were doing at the time, including, but not limited to, flaming tables, light tubes, drawing pins, just silly stuff that we would never ever even dream about doing anyway nowadays. After that, we went down the route of possibly getting our own ring, and we're looking at different options as to how we're going to afford a ring, how we're going to go around getting it. And then it just so happened that a good personal friend of ours, he's called Greg, he had a ring available to rent.
Me and one of the other guys actually went to a gym and trained in MMA, and the coach said, why don't you bring your stuff up here so you've got your own room, you're safe, you're away.
Where every Sunday we could go, put our ring up, use the ring and actually teach training classes. That way we got a bunch of new trainees coming in. We had a ring, we had our own training classes, more students, more wrestlers, and from there it literally just grew and grew and grew.
I'm Jack Barron.
And I'm Jack Garvin.
And we are semi-professional wrestlers. We work on professional shows, but we still train at the same time. So we train at PCW still.
Yeah, training at PCW whilst doing shows for PCW at the same time.
Being on the shows is probably one of the best buzzes I've ever got.
Oh, yeah.
The crowds are minimum 250 to maximum 1,000, and I think 100 was the biggest show. And now I'm 5 years I've been doing it with RWL. So coming from RWL, which is just a little place, friends coming around working together and sort of teaching each other as we go, to then working with some of the best in the country is the most surreal thing ever, especially like being in the ROH back locker rooms, and who are American company and Global Force and stuff. Like it's so surreal when you come from like here, where it's just the guys wrestling, watching the matches, talking to each other afterwards. It's one of the best feelings. It's definitely ridiculous.
There's influences of RWL in every single, in most companies in the UK now by some way, shape or form, whether it's someone who's been in RWL, someone who's trained at RWL, or someone who's just simply crossed paths with our talent for an extended period of time. And then we look at people like Jack Barron and Jack Garvin, who they both started out here in our rings with our tutelage. Them two now are both onto bigger and better things. So with the new progressions that we've got, the new ring coming in, the new set of events coming up, it's only going to keep getting bigger.